بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وهو خير ناصر ومعين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين. In the first part of the program, we pointed out to the all goodness that one arrives upon, one achieves, or one analyzes from the event of Karbala is based upon, or the source of it is faith, is the iman, and that iman is the iman on obviously on the highest level is the iman of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, and then after that the ashab, and then after that those who carried this message and delivered to us, the prisoners, the asiran of the plain of Karbala. Now, we said that before ending, what was it? What type of iman was it? On what? And how they really achieved this faith? Where did it really come from? See, iman, there's a great relationship between faith and understanding. The greater the understanding, the stronger the faith, the stronger the iman. The clarity you have in marifat, there is a clarity in understanding, there will be clarity in action, there will be clarity in iman. One will be very strong in his faith. So there is a relationship between marifat and also iman. And iman, faith, is something that is unique, and it is something that is delivered by God in the heart of the mu'mineen when one sees the khulus, the sincerity. The person have the marifat, and this marifat will bring about action, and this action needs khulus, sincerity. Once you have that, then faith starts to descend in the heart of the mu'min. So let me do that recap. There's a great relationship between marifat, between knowledge, understanding, and faith and iman. The stronger the marifat, the stronger the action, the sincere the action, the descent of iman, the stronger. Let me give you an example. You have a dead person in a room, and the doctor is right there, and the doctor have the knowledge that the dead body will not harm him. But if you ask this doctor to stay all night in the room with the dead body, he will be fearful. He will not be strong enough. Although he has that knowledge, but in terms of his faith, in terms of his iman, he is very weak. He has fear, because the knowledge that he has is incomplete knowledge. The knowledge that he has is only the knowledge of that physical body, but he does not have the knowledge of the spiritual body. And as he does not have the knowledge of the spiritual body, he is too scared to stay inside. Perhaps something will happen, the spirit will return, or the dead body will stand up or do something to him. But if he had the knowledge of the physical body, complete knowledge, and also at the same time the spiritual body as well, then he will be less scared. His knowledge is limited. So there's a strong relationship here in terms of that marifat and knowledge, and in terms of that practice of a person, and in terms of the faith that the person have, the iman that the person have. So now, if I have strong knowledge, then my action will follow. If I have strong understanding and marifat, this will automatically bring about action of mine. This will automatically bring about my my surrendering to this knowledge by action. Now, once I started practicing that, once I act sincerely, with sincerity, with ikhlas, then that is the beginning of iman. You see? Hur stopped Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein made Hur realize who is Imam Hussein. Understanding of Hur increases. Imam Hussein supports his mission, his argument with letters that came from Kufa as well. This is external. Prior to that, Imam Hussein made him realize that he is from Ahl Bayt, made him realize that he is the son of Siddiqa Kubra, Fatimatul Zahra. He made him realize that. Hur Ma'rifat increases. He is reminded of that. Then and this is also supported with other evidences as well. Then finally, when this Ma'rifat increases, the action of Hur begins. Hur wanted to pray behind Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Hur finally came in the camp of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Tawbah, action, Ma'rifat, Tawbah, Ma'rifat, action, Tawbah, returning back to God with sincerity, with khulus. An action that is with khulus is accepted by God. Hur, your Tawbah is accepted by me and my Lord. Come, join us. Hur joins, sacrifices his life. Iman, strong, became very Iman of Hur on that knowledge. And with that action, his faith became the greatest. So, a small sort of analytical understanding of Hur on Ma'rifat, on action, and khulus, sincerity, and Iman. Reflection of faith in Ashura. This is what our topic is. Reflection of faith in Ashura. See, from a person who would be, if he wouldn't have joined, he would be considered to be from those وَلَهُ التَّمْكِينَ مِنْ قِتَالِكَ. We say, may the curse be upon those who have provided means for the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the grandson of the Prophet, those who have given hand in hand to those who martyred Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So Hur here would have been would have been the point of focus for the curse of God. But what happened with that Ma'rifat? And then after that Ma'rifat, with that action, and an action with khulus, he becomes Bi anta wa ummi, from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam to the ashab of Imam Hussein. He becomes Assalamu alaykum ya awliya Allahi wa ahibba'u. He becomes the Waliullah. He becomes the one who loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He becomes the one for whom the sixth Imam have said, may my life and my parents' life be sacrificed to the ashab of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. What happened? From a camp which was supposed to be, a focus of the evil or the focus of la'nat of God, of curse of God upon the killers of Imam Hussein, the grandson of the Prophet, becomes the one who is from the awliya, becomes the one for whom the sixth Imam is saying, may my life be sacrificed to you. It was nothing but that Ma'rifat of the Imam, action, and this action with ikhlas, with khulus, and this brought that strong resolve, that strong faith, which made him reach that maqam of awliya, that maqam where the Imams give salams to, the Ahl Bayt give salams to, and all of the Mu'mineen give salams to. He reached there. He reached there. Now, prior to the end of our tonight's program, I would once again point out to the aspect of this ma'rifat, the aspect of this understanding and knowledge, which brings strong faith. What is it that brings strong faith? What type of ma'rifat, what type of understanding, what type of knowledge really brings this strong faith? The thing that brings that strong faith is that phenomena, or the understanding of the phenomena of Tawheed. That's what it is. It is nothing but Tawheed. The battle of Karbala was the battle of Tawheed against Shirk, Tawheed against Kufr. That was the battle. Yazid wanted to uproot Tawheed, and Imam Hussein and the Ashab and the women and children of Imam Hussein and the companions, they established Tawheed. Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam established Tawheed in the hearts of Mu'mineen, in the hearts of Muslimin, in this whole wide world. They established Tawheed. So, understanding and the knowledge of Tawheed will bring this sort of Iman. What sort of Iman? An Iman that is the source of all goodness. That is the source or the centerpiece for all lessons to be learned from it. And for this very purpose, for this very Tawheed, we have seen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent the Quran. We have seen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have sent the Prophet from Adam alayhi salam till the last Prophet, and it is all and all nothing but the message of Tawheed. Now, this message of Tawheed which reached the most crystallized form, which reached the most unique and clear form by the Quran, La ilaha illallah, by the message of Islam, the most precise explanation of Tawheed by the Quran and by the Prophet. And this is the very reason we find that the hadith of the Prophet which says, Husainu minni wa ana min al Husain. The message of the Prophet is the Quran, the message of the Prophet is Tawheed, and Imam Hussein alayhi salam is the says, wa ana min al Husain. And this Tawheed, this Quran, this message, this Iman remain because of Karbala, because of Ashura, because of this sacrifice of Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam and of the Ashab of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So, now what type of, and what is this Tawheed, and what is this Ma'rifat that we are talking about? Now, when we reflect upon the traditions, when we reflect upon the narrations, when we reflect upon the verses of the Quran, we find that over and over again God have emphasized or reminded us that, oh human beings, you've been created for me. Oh human beings, you've been created to worship me. And the most famous verse, that Ma khalaqtul jinna wal ins illa liya'budun. I haven't created the jinn and men except that they worship me. That is the purpose of creation. Now, what is true worship? How can one really say that he is worshipping God? Well, there are different types and forms of worship that we see, but they are not considered as worship. God do not consider them as worship. Prostrating in front of the idols, for example, God do not consider it as a worship. But technically speaking, as a definition, it is still considered as a worship. But does God really regard this as worship? Worship sits upon the chair of Marifat. Worship sits upon the foundation of understanding, the foundation of knowledge. If a person have precise knowledge of God, and then he is carrying out certain actions which been prescribed by God, then this is considered as worship. If he is carrying out these actions for the sake of God, then this is considered as worship. So here God becomes that centerpiece. God becomes that point of focus. God becomes that sort of pivotal point for the worship to be a true worship, and for worship to be true worship, and also God is that pivotal point where one have to have that precise understanding, marifat and knowledge, for all of those things to fall in its right place. Now, where does it begin? We said Tawheed, we said oneness of God. What does this really mean? What type of Tawheed is this that we find that Ma ra'aytu illa jamila? What is this Tawheed? That where the Iman have reached to a point where Siddiqa Sughra says, I saw nothing but beauty. Where the Iman have reached to a point when the news of the martyrdom of Qasim ibn al-Hasan comes, Farwa falls in the sajda and she says, thank God that my sacrifice have been accepted. I've been seeing that other youth, other family members, other nieces and other nephews of Mawla, of Imam, is going and sacrificing, and my son has not gone yet. He hasn't been given the opportunity to sacrifice his life. Then when the news comes of the martyrdom, what sort of Iman is this? What sort of belief in Tawheed is this? What type of Tawheed? See, if the belief in Tawheed is understood and resolved, a human will not have any problem. He will have no problem in his life at all. If that Tawheed is correct, if that belief in God is correct, if he believes that there is only one God and only one powerful God who is in control of everything, then he is ready to face whatever God have destined for him and accept it and be pleased with it. And from his side, he will try his level best to resolve it. He will try his level best to stay on Iman. He will try his level best that this Tawheed remains, even if that be, or even if that be by his sacrifice, even if he has to give life. He has accepted the pain. He has accepted that destiny. That is Tawheed. That there is one God and He is the most powerful one, and He has destined thing for us, and we accept it. But this acceptance is not a passive acceptance. This acceptance is an active acceptance. This acceptance is an acceptance with joy. This acceptance is an acceptance where one have given all what was required for this person to protect himself, to protect his children, to plan. He has given everything. He has given all and everything with the reliance, with tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then if it doesn't work out, then it goes around in a different direction, then that is also something beautiful. Ma ra'aytu illa jamila, even that is also something unique and special, because that is also increasing in our marifat of that very Tawheed. What does Amirul Mu'mineen says? Amirul Mu'mineen says that Araftu billah, I recognized Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when my plans were broken, It is not you and I who's making a plan here. It is Ali ibn Abi Talib making a plan here. Who is Ali ibn Abi Talib? Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi salam, Amirul Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib is the one who says that Ma ra'aytu shayyan qablahu Allah, ma'ahu Allah, ba'dahu Allah, fihu Allah. I haven't seen a thing before which I saw God. After that thing I saw God. With that thing I saw God. So the planning of Amirul Mu'mineen, whatever he is doing, it is for Lillah, and he has remembered God each and in every moment. There isn't an action of Ali that is without God. There isn't an action of Ali, right? And it is because of this very reason we find Darbatu Ali in Yawm al-Qandaq, the strike of Ali on the Day of Judgment is afdalu min ibadat al-thaqalain. It is better than the worship of, thaqalain, of both worlds, whoever is in it. Why is that? Because that zarbat, that action, that step, that understanding is understanding a tawheedi, true understanding of tawheed. That's what Amirul Mu'mineen is. So now here, what I'm trying to say here is, Amirul Mu'mineen says that Araftu billah, my ma'rifat increase, my knowledge increase. I understood God when? By the breaking of my plans, when my plan didn't work. Because my plan is tawheedi. I am doing nothing. My actions, my vision, my steps, my hearing, my hands is all tawheed, is a reflection of that divine. But araftu billah, wow, what a statement, what a great understanding. Have you analyzed this hadith? He's saying that my marifat increase. He's not worried about his plan is broken down, which automatically brings about, sadness, which brings about disheartedness, which is painful, which is difficult, because I planned something, I wanted it to be this way. And this plan is not for nafsi, it's not for my nafs, but this plan is for lillah, right? Even that is broken down. Now I'm facing pain. Now I'm facing difficulty. Now I'm persecuted. But this persecution, this difficulty, and this pain is araftu billah, is the knowledge I have increased here. I am happy about it. I'm enjoying it. I have increased in my marifat by the breaking of my plan. By my defeat, I am happy. Why? Because araftu, because I recognize God. So if that tawheed, if one have that iman on this type of tawheed, this type of understanding of tawheed, then there is, everything is harmony. Everything is peaceful. Everything is lovely. There's nothing, there's no trouble at all. No doubt one is facing problem. No doubt it is very painful for that person, right? But at the same time, arafto, his marifat is increased there. This is the beauty of that iman. This is the beauty of that belief of tawheed that a person could have. So Ashura is the name of this. Ashura provided us with this understanding of tawheed. La yawmuka yawmuka Aba Abdullah. There is no day like the day of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Because the day of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein teaches us tawheed. The immaculate, precise, pure tawheed is taught in the school of Karbala, in the school of Ashura, at the time of Ashura. See, one more thing I'll quickly mention in the margin before we end. We have about 2 minutes left. Universals are very hard to become or to make. To make a thing universal, something that becomes a principle, it has to have some sort of very fine, high, sublime reality to it, so that it becomes universal. For a thing to become universal and it is universally applied, it has to be very absolute. The concept have to be very absolute for it to become universal. For example, treat others the way you like to be treated. This is a universal principle. Or for example, lying is bad. This is a universal principle. It is something that have become universal, regardless of any faith, creed or iman. One accepts this principle. So it must have 100% truth for it to be universal, that everyone should accept it. The sacrifice of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, the sacrifice of the ashab of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, their actions that day, that time, that hour, that ground, that place, that space have become universal. Kullu yawmin Ashura wa kullu ardin Karbala. This is a universal. This has become a universal principle, that every day is Ashura and every land is Karbala. Why is that? It is because the sacrifice was a truthful sacrifice. Why is it? Because it is absolute. There's 100% in this, and that's why it has become universal. You see, so the day of Ashura and the land of Karbala becomes that universal, a universal principle that is applied today, yesterday, and in the future it will be applied the same, because it reflects what? It reflects the battle of falsehood and truth. It reflects the battle of haqq and batil. It reflects the battle of tawheed and kufr. It becomes universal to the maximum capacity. That is why it is La Yawmuka, Yawmuka Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. There is no day like the day of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. We will be continuing our discussion in regards to faith in the plain of Karbala, the faith, how faith was reflected, reflections of faith in Ashura. We'll be continuing on this topic. In conclusion, Ma'rifat, understanding and knowledge. After that is the action based upon this Ma'rifat and knowledge. This action will be a true action, and this action with khulus and sincerity. This khulus and sincerity brings about that sublime faith, that strong faith that becomes the source of all other faiths. And that's what we have seen, and we'll continue on this topic. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye from Hidayat. غفر الله لنا ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.